Thank you, Yashna, for joining me once again on the Star Corner. I know that last time we had a lot of issues, and that's why we decided to do it pre-recorded. So yeah, once again, thanks for joining me. And how are you doing today?
Thank you for having me. I am doing pretty good today, actually. How are you?
I'm doing great despite the technical difficulties and having to figure out how to work this. All is good. So there's some exciting news that you've released today, which I want to reveal to the viewer at the end of this interview. But first things first,
Yeah.
when did you know that you had a passion for music and a talent for singing?
So it started at a very young age. Like I have pictures of holding a plastic microphone in my hand. And from what I heard from my mother, like I used to sing everywhere. So in the toilet, in the bathroom, outside, inside, So I guess it's always been there, but the realization that I actually have a talent or possess a talent came through at a later stage. Because obviously I did not know that I had something special. I just like to sing. It was just fun to sing. And when I was in primary school, I'd watch the choir and I wasn't bold enough to join as yet, obviously because I didn't know that I was talented in that regard, but I just loved hearing the sound of music. And I used to get teary eyed and I used to get this lump in my throat whenever I'd watch the choir sing. I guess I knew in my spirit that there was something that resonated within me and music, my connection to music. And it was, I think I was in grade 7 when I would sing for my friend outside school, because you have monitor duties. And I remember she looked at me and said, "Wow, Yashna, you have such a beautiful voice." And from the moment that she said I have a beautiful voice, I started thinking on it. And lo and behold, a couple of years later, I grew some strength to join the choir. And yeah, it's been a journey since then. Truth is, I've been singing since I was very little. But I only started to embrace it later on in my life when I was in primary school, high school.
Awesome, awesome. And then, like, your first competition that you won was a gospel competition. How has your faith influenced your career?
It's been a very pivotal part of my career because this industry is a very tricky one. If you're not firm in your faith, it's so easy to be swayed into doing things that, you may not even stand for. So for me, like I'm a lover of church. I go to church every Sunday. I actually sang at church this past Sunday. It lifts my spirit. It grounds me in my character because I'm very firm in my values and my beliefs. So even winning that award, honestly, I was not expecting it. I just went there just, to try it out and just let my voice be heard. And when they announced my name, I was in awe because there were really talented people alongside me that had also entered. But for me, knowing God and having faith in Him and His word really has helped me, I think, get to this point, because it's also very hard to stay positive, especially in a time such as this where bookings are bleak because of COVID. But having that faith and the foundation of faith really helps stay strong even in tough times. So for me as an artist, it's been something that's very important to me and in my family life as well. So Jesus in church, hashtag Team Jesus, hashtag Team Go to Church.
Awesome. And then could you enlighten the viewer a bit more about the competition that you wanted that you took part in at East Coast Radio, where you joined with a drummer. I forgot her name. I think it was something with an M.
Kelly,
Oh, was it
yeah, Kelly
Kelly?
Bigaris.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, now her surname starts with an M because she's married, but back then she was not married. But I had also met her in church. I was part of a ladies' ensemble, and so she was a really dope female drummer, and I sang. And it was just ironic that both our mothers were like, "You need to enter this East Coast Radio Be the Band competition," and we were both individual artists, and we didn't have a band, so I was like, "Oh, did you hear about this Be the Band competition?" My mother was like, I should enter, but obviously I'm a one-man band and I don't play any instruments. My vocal is my only instrument. And she, on the other hand, was like, my mother said the same thing. And we kind of joined forces, came together. Shout out to our mothers for believing in us. And we made it to the top 6 of that competition. And I feel like that was the stepping stone and part of our journey, because even though today we're solo artists and we went our separate ways with regards to music, that was a stepping stone, because it was from that competition that we got noticed by A1 Wolf, who pulled us into the warehouse the warehouse team at the time, there was, what can I call it? An initiative that A1 was pushing where he took some talented kids and gave them a space to record and teach them some basic steps within the music industry and how it works, and gave us this knowledge. And so, yeah, it was a stepping stone for us. So I think I kind of fast forwarded to the warehouse and I should not have. Sorry about that. but yeah, so that was the East Coast competition. And yeah, so shout out to Kelly, because yeah, joining forces with her really was a stepping stone and significant in my journey of being an artist.
Awesome. And then yourself and Kelly released a single which you guys got to perform at the Polo launch alongside Sketchybongo, Kai and Cruz, and Kyle Deutsch. How did it feel sharing the stage with those artists?
It was pretty major. I think everything was moving so quick. It almost felt surreal, but it was also a privilege and an honor because it was our first single as a duo, and we were really proud of what we put out. It's actually a beautiful song. I actually high-key think it's totally slept on. It's called Forever Down. I'm not sure if you've heard it, but it's a ballad. And back then, obviously, we weren't as knowledgeable as we are now with regards to pushing a single and stuff like that. So it did kind of wither away. And all my other songs have kind of taken precedence over it. But like, I would urge anyone to go and check it out. It's such a dope ballad. It was a really cool experience. And I think it was at that launch that sketchybongo kind of took notice of me. And that's how I got into studio with him to start working on Fire with him. That was 2017. Yeah, it was the same year. And fast forward, that actually turned out to be a pretty big single for me.
Yeah, I think actually there's like quite a bit of your songs that are slipped on, because I'm quite sure I heard the song that you were speaking about now, because in doing my research for this interview, I heard so much music and I was like, what, this music needs to be so much more. Especially talking about the EP, there was a song in the EP that I was really vibing to. Hint, hint to whoever's listening now. I'm going to play a song from that later on. But talking about the video with Sketchybongo on Fire, and then you made this dope music video, which scared me a bit because there was literally flames around you. How did it feel and how did it work? Like, was there some way that they protect you from being burnt, or yeah, how did that thing go?
Can I just say that was like an on edge, near death situation. Literally, they had one, what do you call that tank? Fire extinguisher.
Yeah, fire extinguisher.
They had right? But it was broken. So if I got burnt, I was basically dead, because literally everything you see in that music video was real life, real fire. I could feel the heat against my face. If you watch the video, literally there's the part where the couch is kind of flaming up and leaning towards me, and you can see my back slowly leaning forward because I was like so scared it was going to fall on me. And even the part where I'm holding the newspaper on fire, that was a real newspaper. That was real fire. And I had to stay in character. So it was a huge challenge. But like, I was glad I was able to pull it off because it turned out so dope. But yeah, that was really scary.
Wow. It looked really scary because I was like, oh, is this real? Because you actually did manage to maintain your character. And I mean, it was so dope the way the video was taken. I was like, what, the flames are just there? Like, not many people have that guts. But talking about Sketchybongo, how did it feel to work with him? Because he's a really accomplished producer and DJ that's worked with so many great artists. How does it feel, spending that time with him?
It was a pretty straightforward process. Like, so I went to the studio with A1 Wolf and we got there. He literally played the beats. Like, it wasn't like I had a choice of certain beats. He played one beat. Yeah. So whether or not I liked the beat, thankfully I liked it. But it was also out of my comfort zone because if you listen to it, it's kind of house pop. And at that point, I hadn't experimented much with other genres at that point in my life in 2017. So he just looped the beat and he was like, please freestyle some melodies. So I went on the mic. Firstly, if anyone knows me, and this is a fun fact, Yashna does not freestyle. I don't like freestyling. And I'm not good at it. Besides melodies, like if you have to tell me to freestyle with words, game over. Shout out to all the rappers that can do it, but I can't.
Yeah, it's a tough thing.
So I was nervous. And I went on the mic and I just literally freestyled like the part where I go, oh, 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 oh. And he used that. And then I was like, please, can you loop the beat? So he looped the beat. And I think it was 4 hours straight. Wow. I wrote the whole song. A1 were chatting and they just had the beat on loop. So I'd write a verse, I'd record the verse. they'd be like, oh, that's dope. And I was like, okay, cool. On to the next part, write the hook, you know. So it was so straightforward. It was a 1 day, 1 session, 4 hour session actually. And that was a wrap. And that was 2017. The song actually only dropped in 2019. So yeah, behind the scenes, it was a much longer process than it looked like in reality. But God's timing, God's plan, you know, sometimes the way we want it to work out is never the way it does, and it's for good reason. So yeah, but I mean, it was a dope experience. For me, the best part was the music video, because it was me living my dream. Because as a child, I'd watch music videos on TV and I'd practice in front of the mirror. So like how you said I was in character, all those years of standing in front of pretending I'm in a music video, this was my time to shine because it was my actual music video. So I was in my element. It was very exciting for me.
You definitely look like you were in your element. That video was so cool. And then you said it was a genre that you didn't have that much experience with. But that's something that you have as an artist. I mean, you're so versatile. There's been so many different genres of music that you've released. From amapiano, R&B, hip hop, house. You know, why do you think it's so important? Because I think in your first, I think it was an album or EP, Phases of a Broken Heart, where you release so many different genres of music. Why is it so important for you as an artist to keep on growing and to show your fans your versatility in music?
So when I first started, I used to just be a fan of like many different genres. Like I used to love your Avril Lavigne, your Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston, then your hip hop sounds also. So I used to listen to a lot of different music, but singing wise, if I had to sing a song, it would usually be soulful or R&B-ish. And one thing I realized is that I had to step out of my comfort zone, because we are living in a world where literally a person can become famous overnight. Once they can drop one song and pop off. And there's so many different genres that are like battling it out. It makes more sense for me to be relevant and to constantly push myself to try out new genres, because I might be good at it. And somehow it actually worked for me, because I know there's a lot of artists that stick to one genre because it works for them. And it's like something like a solid genre that they focus on. But I decided, let me try out new things, because each genre has a different target market. You know, there's different people that follow different sounds. And for me, I just wanted to be everywhere. I wanted to be all up in your face. Like if you turn on 5FM or you turn on East Coast Radio or you turn on Gagasi FM, I wanted you to hear me everywhere. So for me, I wanted to embrace everything, and usually my music stems from, say I hear a song and I like it and I want to make something that has a similar vibe. That's usually where it stems from. Like with Amapiano, I know I'm bringing it kind of forward, but with Amapiano, I was not the biggest fan, because like initially TV would shove it in my face even if I didn't want to hear it. Radio would shove it in my, and I was like, let me breathe. Everywhere I go, it's Amapiano. And it got to a point where I just got so used to it. I was like, okay, whatever. But I never took the time to listen, right? And then it was last year, December, when I was in studio and Neo played me Kabza's I'm the King of Amapiano album. And I was like, wow, this is dope. Because it wasn't the ratchet piano in a sense. It was kind of like the calm piano, which I hadn't really taken the time to listen to. And listening to that inspired me to try something new. And it so happened, it turned out really dope. So I just feel like as artists, it's so sad that so often we limit ourselves. But I felt the need to step out and try new sounds, try new things. And it's been working for me, because I also don't want to limit myself. Stretching yourself surprises you sometimes, because even when I do these weird genres, whether it's house or whether it's hip hop, trap, I'm not a rapper, I'm a singer. But when I try out these things and it turns out dope, I'm like, oh my goodness, you can actually do this. So the sky is the limit, and I feel like we're the only people that limit ourselves. So yeah, if I can try every genre within this lifetime, I would have done something special, because I would surprise myself too.
You said you're not a rapper. You just dropped like a rap. You joined you entered a rap challenge where you got noticed by Questa. So I think I would beg to differ on that, because I think that you do got bars.
#lockdown does those things to you, because we had nothing else to do. So every challenge that came out during lockdown, I was there front and center trying. There was so much shade because like rappers would come through like, why is this singer getting like credit? Because I made it to I became a finalist in like the Budweiser competition, the Ganja Beats one. And I made the top 10 and they were coming at me like, she's not a rapper. Why is she here? But I sang rap. But that's the thing. I made it my own as much as like I don't rap, like I really tried. And the one with Questa, by the way, there I kind of rapped.
Yeah.
And yeah, it just, the fact that he even gave me a shout out was so bizarre because like I didn't expect it. Someone actually sent me the video and was like, yo, did you see this? And I was like, oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh,
like
well,
what in
the
the
thing
world?
about haters also, haters are always gonna hate, and that's so amazing what you said about the fact of making it your own, because I mean we hear these things every time and we're not hearing anything different. Like you said, there's an artist that sticks to one genre, and here you are mixing
Yeah.
it up, adding a bit of everything. And something that I've heard in your music, in a lot of your songs, there's always a message about empowering women, whether it's boss energy, and many more that speak about uplifting women and empowering women to just go do the best, do what they can. Why is it so important for you to make music that invokes change?
I feel like this industry we're in, I actually got told by a really prominent male figure within this industry the other day, that he was saying, I just need to keep pushing, because being female, I literally have to work twice as hard. Because even as a man, he's aware that it's tough for females in this industry. If you look at lineups and stuff, it's majority men. I don't know why it's like that, but it's just how this world is structured, I guess. So not only, you know, it's just sad, actually.
Yeah,
Like
it is.
I can't even, but it's reality. So yeah, I don't feel like I have to work twice as hard. I feel like I have to work 10 times as hard just to get myself out there because, you've also noticed that the color of my skin is Indian and is brown. Is Indian. My race is Indian. What am I saying? But there's not many Indian artists out here, Indian female artists. I feel like I'm literally probably the first female Indian
I
South
also
African
think that you're the
artist.
first one like in South Africa that I've noticed. I don't think I've
Yeah,
seen
and
any.
I feel like I'm literally breaking molds because I feel like we have a mold that is expected from Indians, and there's like no expectation from us as singers or like artists. And I'm kind of out here just like defying all of that, especially jumping on these different genres. But it's important to have someone speak up about it, and for like another female to hear the song and be like, oh, she's going through the same thing I'm going through, so I'm not alone in this. It kind of motivates you to go harder. It motivates you to know that you're not alone in something and that there's other females going through the same thing. So if I can do that through my music, I'm doing something positive. And we also live in a world where, you know, the honest reality is there's a lot of females that scream female empowerment, but actually tear each other down behind the scenes. And I'm in that cutthroat industry where I face those realities. And so my music also is there to send strong messages to the real ones, to those that are actually pushing female empowerment and actually want to uplift other females, you know? So I also write music for myself. So most of the times when I'm writing, it's to uplift myself and by proxy uplift those that listen to it, you know, because times can get so tough and you almost need to speak to yourself and encourage yourself when you're going through things. So as much as I do write to motivate and uplift other women, it's also in a sense to uplift myself so that I can push through even when, you know, things doesn't seem to be working out. It's almost as though just keep going because eventually it will, you know. Again,
Yeah.
hashtag God's plan, God's timing.
I think I can relate to that. And I spoke to another person that I know that does motivational videos. And even me in my times when I do certain motivational segments and that, people always asking you, wow, that's so cool. But they don't realize that it's not just you like waking up every day. It's actually come from a place where you feel like, okay, now I need to motivate myself. And in doing
Yeah.
that, it will motivate others. But to now get to the exciting news, because
Yeah.
I don't know what I did on Zoom. I think I limit this thing to 35 minutes. But to get to the exciting news about the EP, which I'm going to listen after this, I already heard one track, which was Can't Live Without You. which
Yeah.
was you featuring Tyler ICU. And I wanted to play it
Yeah.
on the live. I mean, I had the speaker and everything lined up, and unfortunately we had that issue last time. But could you give us
Yeah.
a bit of a snippet on that EP? What made you want to go full Amapiano into this EP, and how was it doing it?
So with this EP in particular, remember I mentioned listening to Kabza's album and then I was inspired. Literally Can't Live Without was the first piano song I ever did. So we got into studio, I did that. I was sending out DJ packs. Tyler grabbed it. He was like, I want to remix it. Not necessarily remix. He wants to hop on it. So I ended up dropping that as the first song. And then it got such a reaction. Like there were people messaging like, oh, we need more piano. They were tagging. They were like, there was this like sense of hype that was created. And I'm like, well, the people want this. So I may as well just give it to them. So I got into studio. I think it was like a matter of a month because we started this project like last month, imagine. Because in the midst of that, you would have seen I dropped Boss Energy and a couple other songs.
Yeah, you dropped quite a lot of singles.
Yeah. So we got into studio and I think within a matter of a month, we had like 5 songs. And yeah, this is more of a passion project. Like it wasn't really a thought out, okay, this is what approach I'm going for. This is the type of sound I'm going for. It was like, people want piano. People are going to get piano from Yashna. And so I went in and I tapped on different sounds with Neo Dao, who was on all the production, except for Can't Live Without. He collaborated with Tyler ICU. But literally the both of us, we drew inspiration from other piano songs and we came together, we co-wrote the whole project. It was literally a passion project. It was going into the studio and just writing because you feel like it, not because, okay, I have a deadline or I have, you know, this brief that I have to follow. It was just going in and making music that we like for fun. And it turned into this really dope project. Actually, when we had the last listening session, we both looked at each other and we were like, oh my goodness, this is pretty solid. So I'm really excited about this drop because the music is really, really dope. And as a South African artist, I feel like it wasn't expected from me. But I'm glad that I was able to embrace something of South African culture because piano started in South Africa. And as a South African, to be able to bring that to life in the form of music is super spectacular for me. Like, I'm proud of myself, actually, because it didn't turn out like cringe. Like, if you listen to it, you're not like, oh my God, what is she doing? It's like, oh my goodness, that's dope, you know? So I'm really, really proud of this project. I really hope people embrace it and like it as much as I enjoyed making it. There's some really cool sounds there. And, you know, like how we spoke about motivation, there's actually 2 tracks on the project that speak on motivation. And there's like 2 love songs and 1 is just about a vibe. So there's diversity within themes within the project as well. So it's not like a monotonous themed project. It really takes you on different levels. So I really hope people enjoy the journey when listening to it. I hope you like it as well. And yeah, that's Yano Groove.
You got me so excited for that. Now I'm like, I need to go check that out now when I'm done. Anyway, I just want to say thank you for joining me. We've had so much struggles in the live and then setting this up, but we finally got it done. Thank you for taking out the time. Thank you for continuing to make great music that, you know, inspires many, but also makes them have a vibe. And for the listener out there, if you haven't already, you need to check out Yashna's music. Like she said, there's such a variety of music that she creates, from hip hop, trap, R&B, you know, and now you got this Amapiano. So just go check it out. I'm not gonna say more, just check it out. I'm gonna play one song now, which will be Can't Live Without You, with Yashna featuring Tyler ICU, and then you can get obviously the rest of her music on her socials and other platforms.
Thank you so much for having me and for persevering through the technical difficulties. Normally, it's these exact same. I say when you go through all these difficulties, it turns out to be the dopest product. From experience with music videos and photo shoots, the quality turns out best. So I know we've had our hiccups here trying to get this done. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to turn out dope. And shout out for doing your homework and having the dopest questions. Everything was so, you know, detailed. It's like you knew the questions to ask, which I really appreciate because it wasn't surface level questions. It was in-depth questions. So all the best on your journey as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Pleasure.